Now we go on to the fifth and final pillar of Al-Islam. The fifth pillar of Al-Islam is fasting, or what's called sawm. Sawm is fasting. This is what's done during the month of Ramadan every year for as long as a person is of age and able to do so. Fasting being one of the five pillars, that means that we can find proof that we have to fast in both the Holy Quran, the words of the Almighty Creator Himself, and in the traditions of the Holy Last Messenger Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Allah, the Almighty Creator, says in the second chapter of the Holy Quran, the 183rd line, O you who believe, fasting is prescribed for you, as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may be guarded against evil. This is a divine command from the Almighty Creator that we absolutely must fast. It does not say that it would be better for you to fast. It says prescribed for you, like it was prescribed for those before you. The people before you had to fast, and you do as well. When do Muslims fast? They fast during the month of Ramadan. They fast during the month of Ramadan. It is a fast that is completed from the beginning of dawn until when the sun sets, okay? From dawn to sunset, that is when Muslims fast, okay? And you do this fast, this daily fast, for 29 or 30 days, depending on how many days of the month of Ramadan it is during that particular year. The Islamic calendar is managed according to the lunar cycle. And so sometimes months can be 29 days or they can be 30 days in the Islamic calendar. So for that reason, some Ramadans in certain years have been or will be 29 days. And in other cases, they may be as long as 30 days. We do not fast for 29 days straight. We do not fast for 30 days straight. We fast just before the sun rises, and we open our fast at the end of the day when the sun sets. Okay, so between those times, however, when you start your fast for the day, between the time when you start your fast for the day and right before you open your fast at the end of the day, you do not eat anything, you do not drink anything, you do not speak with foul language, you do not engage in lewd behaviors, you absolutely do not visit upon your spouse like you would marital relations, the kinds of relations that would bring about the conception of a child. These kinds of behaviors, you stay absolutely clear from doing those things during the time in which you are fasting during the month of Ramadan. Again, from the beginning of the day until the end of the day, the beginning of dawn, when dawn comes in, or when the dawn prayer comes in, till sunset, that's the block of time that you're going to fast each day during the month of Ramadan. And when you are actively in the state of fasting, you do not indulge in anything related to food. You do not eat or drink or have marital relations. You do not speak in foul language. You do not backbite or slander people, tell lies. There's so many things, so many sinful acts that people tend to do regularly that you absolutely must do your level best to guard against. But of those things that are normally permissible outside of fasting, you're going to stay away from those things too. Eating is not forbidden, and drinking water or some sort of beverage such as a juice or a coffee or tea, those things are very well permissible to consume. And having relations with one's spouse is not prohibited either. But they are prohibited during the hours in which a person is fasting during the month of Ramadan. Okay, so when the month of Ramadan comes in, if you happen to know any Muslims and that Muslim is fasting during the month of Ramadan, then you will observe this person is not eating anything throughout the day and they aren't drinking anything either. Okay, so you would notice that they may even remove themselves or kind of keep themselves to themselves a little bit more just so that they can do extra prayers, extra remembrances of the Almighty Creator. We try to maximize the most amount of good deeds we can during this time. Because this is what it's about. It's about doing the best deeds, doing the most deeds possible, and being in a constant state of remembrance of the Almighty Creator. In addition to abstaining from food and drink and marital relations, lewd speech, etc. Okay? So that is the last of our 5 pillars. So let's take a review of the 5 pillars. So we said there's the testification that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. We said that we have to establish salah, the 5 daily prayers. We have to pay the charitable tax, the zakat. We have to make hajj, perform hajj to the house of the Almighty Creator in Mecca. And then the last one is sawm. We have to fast during the month of Ramadan. One other thing we should note about fasting, if you're a Muslim who is ill, perhaps this Muslim is one who is required by a doctor or instructed by a physician that they must take certain medicines throughout the day, or they must consume food throughout the day, or fasting would be a detriment to their health. Those kinds of individuals were not required to fast. So remember, we talked about zakat. Certain people had to pay zakat, and we talked about hajj. Certain people had to perform hajj. The same thing with fasting. Only certain people who are of sound health and of age are the ones who are responsible and required to fulfill this particular rite. Okay? So those are the 5 pillars of Islam. One last thing I'd like to make mention about is if you think about a house, okay? Think about a house. I want you to close your eyes and think about a house. How is a house constructed? A house is constructed with a foundation and the 4 walls and the ceiling or the roof, okay? If you take away those walls, then the ceiling crumbles or the roof crumbles. If you take away the foundation, then you can't even build those walls and the roof. When we talk about the foundation of Islam, we talk about the pillars of Islam, we're talking about the foundation upon which we are going to act throughout our lives as Muslims. And the Almighty Creator has told us that if you're going to walk the path of Islam or live as a Muslim lives, living the way of Al-Islam, then that means that you have to be on a solid foundation. And what is that solid foundation? The solid foundation are those 5 pillars of Islam. If you have those 5 pillars of Islam and you are doing your level best to make sure that you follow them to the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, then you can solidly say that you are practicing Al-Islam, the way of Al-Islam. Again, we said the way of Al-Islam is not a religion, it's a way of life that encompasses, it rules, it regulates every aspect of a Muslim's life, every solitary aspect. No stone is left unturned with regard to this deen, because as I started in the beginning of the lecture, I said that the Almighty Creator said that today He has perfected our deen, and our deen, or our way, is Al-Islam. Thank you very much for your time, and have a very blessed day.